One of the most amazing things that I've seen in my life in the last 20 years is the reemergence of downtowns in Maine as a center of development. You know, when I was a kid, I worked in downtown Gardner. My parents owned a paint store, and I was a stock boy, and we lived in that downtown like many families who sold fruit and hats and all these different things in downtowns across the state. But ours was paint. And so I grew up in this culture of downtowns. We lived near it, we walked to it, school was near it, and that obviously drifted away with the loss of the industrial past of Maine. And you see these downtowns have been decaying for a long time, since the 70s really. But not lately. Lately there's been this reemergence, which is just incredible to see. And it's not just in Portland or Freeport, it's in Caribou and Jackman and Machias and Sanford, across the state. Milo you can go to and see the rebuilding of a downtown building. And that to me is impressive, but I always ask myself, why? What is it? Obviously at one time these downtowns were situated where they were and were productive because they were near points of trade, shipping, some axis of distribution probably. But what is it now? I mean, the axis of distribution has changed a lot since 1890 when many of these downtowns were built. And the difference now is that unlike in the early 90s, when downtowns were, some downtowns like Portland had enormous amounts of development. It was all commercial. One city center was built. I'm sitting here in the middle of Portland right now in our offices next to City Hall where the bell is ringing as we speak. And there was a lot of development around this area based only on commercial activity. And the difference between then and now, and what makes downtown development so exciting for the future, and I think for the next 20 years, is that you have mixed use redevelopment. People live in the downtowns. When I was growing up in Gardner and Augusta, you didn't live in the downtown, you worked in it, but not a lot of people lived there. Now people are moving to the downtown for reasons that we all know. It's close to things, you can walk to things, there's transportation hubs, and quite frankly, it's getting hip in some places. No place is a better example than Biddeford-Saco, where there's been an enormous amount of development in arguably the worst recession in our history. And in the middle of that, all of this stuff has happened in downtown Biddeford and Saco. And it's driven in part by residential development. I think residential development is the key to a successful mixed use in the future of downtowns. But I have to say, again, Madawaska to Gardner, you have an incredible amount of new growth in these downtowns, and it's exciting to see. And it's where our future as a company is definitely going.